So all right, let's do this. Story time. That's a photo of one of the best places on earth, Cold Stone Creamery. This is the one and only job I've ever been fired for. So I worked there in college. I was assistant to the regional manager. It was awesome. I was the person who made the ice cream like in the morning, in the day, and cleaned up and did all the fancy stuff. Well, one evening, the regional manager comes in and says, "Did you know that we have a camera right there and we record everything happening back in here?" And I said, "No, I don't care." She says, "You're fired." And I asked why. And she's like, "You've literally been sitting around not doing anything for the past 4 hours." And I said, "Yeah, but I did all my work." And she says, "Doesn't matter. You're fired." I was that person who got into Cold Stone Creamery and would just absolutely hustle, like checklist, this. Just crush all my responsibilities, all my duties, all my work, and then sit there and eat ice cream for like 4 hours. And I got fired. A couple of years later, actually more like 15 years later, doesn't matter. My last corporate job in accounting was actually the last job that I almost got fired for. So I showed up in accounting kind of with this same mindset. So me and my boss, I didn't do it alone, we took my predecessor's work, which was 40 hours a week, and we condensed it down to about 4 hours a week, which is amazing. And then a couple of months later, my boss, who unfortunately knew about this and was okay with it, got promoted, and so I took over his work. And we took that 40 hours a week and we made that down to about 4 hours a week. And my boss and I had this little thing where I said, like, "Please never tell anybody this." I get to show up to my accounting job and I work, honestly, on average 10, maybe like 12 hours of real actual work. It's kind of like that movie Office Space, maybe. I was absolutely terrified that I was going to be fired from this job. Spoiler alert, I never was. But I tell you all this to kind of hint at, this is the type of person I am. I don't think of it as like productivity. I don't think of it as like trying to trick systems or get out of doing work. I feel like it's laziness, real laziness. Like when you look up that word in the dictionary, you will find a picture of me. So why are you here? Why am I here? I feel like, I have never talked about this publicly, I feel like I have a lot to offer people in the things I do to become lazy. I kind of take them for granted because I am lazy and I don't think about it once I'm done with my work, no matter what I'm working on. But I feel like I have a lot to give here. So I feel like we're into this word productivity or efficiency or anything like that. And I don't think that's why I'm here. I'm not about productivity, I'm not about efficiency, I'm not about systems, I'm not about automations and tools, really. It comes down to freedom. This is why I'm here. So you can work on what you want to work on, when you want to work on it. It's a dream, right? We want that? Yes, everybody? Work on what you want to work on, when you want to work on it. That's why I'm here. So you can spend your time however you want. Really. But, of course, there are trade-offs. Not just getting fired from the world's best ice cream job. Not just that. But the word focus comes to mind, right? You might have even seen like the title of my talk in the FinCon app, which is, "Oh, how he runs 75 businesses in 3 hours a week." And that sounds really clickbaity, and it kind of is. So before I begin, no, I've not actually begun yet. I'm just introing myself to death here. 3 types of focus. Number 1, we all do pretty well. This is like your big life, your mission in life. A lot of us, even if you don't know it, you do this well because you're passionate about things. Maybe it's raising your kids. This is like a big level focus, right? We got it. Next one down is macro focus. This is, I started a budgeting blog last year and I'm gonna do financial coaching. You should probably do that. You work on that, you focus for like 3 to 5 years at minimum, all in. You don't go starting a mechanical keyboard blog because you bought one on accident and you just thought it was really cool, and so you created a mechanical keyboard YouTube channel and blog. That's me. I'm terrible at this. I don't have number 2. I'm terrible at it. That's why I have 15 plus businesses. Number 3 is I have 2 hours to spend before my kids get home. Open up my laptop. What do you do? How much can you get done in that 2 hours? What is your headspace like? That's largely what all the rest of this, what I'm about to share, is. There's no hacks here. Actually, maybe like hacks. That's actually a good term for it. There's no like life-changing, I'm absolutely gonna blow your mind with like a productivity something. It's just That's not what this is, right? There are trade-offs, like I mentioned before. Don't go starting 15 businesses. What you're about to see, oh, that was just me. That's myself. I suck at the middle one. The other two, we're good, totally good. So what you're about to see in literally 30 seconds is half me just brainstorming, like, what could I teach people? How could I help people? And the other half, I reached out to family, friends, old people in my mastermind groups, and I asked them, what have you learned from me? Like, how, in your day-to-day work stuff, what did you learn from me that you found helpful in terms of productivity or time freedom or any of these things? And half of the slides are from them, which I thought was really cool. So this stuff is half me, half other people, roughly categorized into those three things down at the bottom, like mindset, time optimization, some techie stuff towards the ends, tools, automation, systems, stuff like that. And then I have like 10 items that you can literally do before you get up from your table right now. Not that you should. You should go enjoy FinCon, but you could do, right? That's what I end with. All right, so hi, my name is Pete McPherson. I'm the founder of Do You Blog, Fab.ai, Topical Map AI, App Tracker, Prop Optimizer, Key Views. It doesn't matter. I have so many projects. Some of these are active, some are not. I'm not gonna pretend that I'm a magic person who does all the things all the time perfectly in, 15 hours a week or whatever. But I do have a lot going on. And some of those make great money, so go me. All right, part one, time optimization and mindset shifts. I'm gonna talk fast. I'm gonna go on 1.25x speed, like the guy on stage said yesterday. I like that. I got a lot of slides here. Number one, times a day, energy. I work up I do crazy good work from like 6 a.m. to noon. I will crush it, absolutely crush it. I am 100% useless from the hours of 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. I just can't do it. This is why I hated corporate work so much, because they were expecting me to do things at like 2:30 p.m. and I just wanted a nap. Like, I can't do this. I just had lunch. I can't do this. The more you know about how well you work when you work, do that. See how you can, like, you have a meeting scheduler, don't schedule meetings during your most productive hours of the morning or night or afternoon or whatever that is for you. Learn what this is for yourself and work accordingly. For me, I play pickleball like 3 times a week in the afternoons because I don't know what else to do. I take naps almost every day. Next up, I also answer emails during this time. There's a difference between I have this project I've been putting off, I really need to sit down and just crush through it, versus emails or other like just chill work. There is work you can do while watching Netflix, right? There's work you can do when you're super tired after your kids go to bed. It's literally 9:12 p.m. and you don't want to do anything. There are probably some tasks you could do that you wouldn't mind doing. What are those? Figure that out for yourself. Sometimes, for me, by the way, it's like coding. I don't code after my kids go to bed because I get frustrated, right? I'm angry at myself for even trying like 35 minutes later, but at 6 a.m. in the morning, like even before a cup of coffee, I could sit down, I'm thinking creatively, I'm in problem-solving mode, I can do it. I've kind of figured this out about myself, to say the least. Okay, the next couple of slides are probably like some of the more controversial, or at least they need me to explain them a little bit deeper. So I want to take this opportunity and remind you that this just works for me. Some of these things you should not attempt. Don't try this at home, sort of stuff. Because it's not you. This is what works for me. So number one, nobody cares. Let me explain. I'm not saying nobody cares about your podcast or your blog or your YouTube channel. I'm saying no one will ever care about your work as much as you do. Never. Not your spouse, not your audience, no one. Do you guys know what font that is? Do you care? Do you care that I spent way too much time trying to figure out if I could use Poppins, or it's Stella, by the way, super amazing font. Do you care? No, you absolutely don't care. Do people care when you like slip up one word in your YouTube channel? Maybe, maybe they don't. My point is, there's a line somewhere. If it was Comic Sans, you'd probably care, right? That's a terrible font. You know what Comic Sans look like. As long as you are hitting a minimum threshold for your audio quality on your podcast, your editing, your images. Do you guys care what software I made to use to make these slides? It was PowerPoint or Canva. Does it matter to you? No, absolutely not. The less time you can spend in that, like, I'm going back and forth on this font choice, I'm going back and forth on this or that, or trying to fix like minute details, that your audience will never care about, the better. The less time you can spend there, the better. Nobody cares. They care about them. How can you help your audience? As long as you're hitting that line, you're good. Next up, this one's mostly for beginners, but I feel like we can all be reminded about this. I don't know how long it took you to write your first blog post, but I know it took me weeks for mine. Decades ago, by the way. I'm lucky now, I can crank out content, YouTube, podcasts, whatever. Especially when you're first starting, don't worry so much about it being good or perfect, because no one's gonna hear it anyways. No one's gonna see it anyways. There's a famous quote by the founder of Google. Early on, they were trying to launch the Google product, but their investors kept saying yo, promote it more. Why aren't we doing more marketing? We could do this, we could do that, we could do this, we could do that. And the founder of Google said I don't need people to discover it right now, because it's gonna be better tomorrow. Your 1,000th blog post is gonna be way better than your first, and way more people are going to see it. And you can stress about that stuff then. But if you are brand new, if you are a beginner, working on the first episode, get it out. The only way to get better is by publishing more. The only way to get better is by doing more, and again, and again, and again. And more people will see it anyways. Same thing, right? This one, you don't know what others think. I'm not telling you not to try. I'm not telling you not to skip out on your content, your podcasting, to release bad stuff. That's not what I'm saying. However, I used to have a number of podcast episodes that from a technical standpoint and the interview standpoint, the guest was fine, I was fine, but I thought, I don't know if my audience is gonna get value out of this. And a great friend of mine, Nick True, used to come to FinCon a lot, said, dude, you have no idea what people think is good. You know what you think is good, you know what you think is good, but I don't know any of those things. I release that content now, and I cannot tell you how many times I've heard, oh, I loved your episode with so-and-so, and in my head I'm thinking, that's the one that I did not want to publish. You don't know what your audience thinks is good. So again, prolific, publish, keep working, do the work. Just use the first take. This is one of those that came back from a friend of mine. I wasn't gonna include it in this talk. I told my great friend Raina Wilcox, who also used to come to FinCon, she was recording a video for me for my old membership platform. I assigned it to her. I was like, this is super easy. Just welcome people to the thing, 5 minutes max. You don't have to edit it at all. Just send me a Loom video. Cool. She texted me the next day, and she's like, okay, I'm on hour 9 or 10 of this video. I was like, what? Wait, what happened? And so I tried to help her in saying, make it a mindset, make it a decision in your life right now to use the first take. Shooting a YouTube video, try to use the first take. It may not always happen, of course, but the more you can prepare yourself on using the first take, the faster you're gonna crank out content. I guarantee this. 5 videos in, you will be amazed at how well you can do on the first take. Beginners, take takes and takes and takes. I gotta do this over again, I gotta do this over again, I gotta do this over again. Make this your mindset. I'm going to use the first take. And by the way, when I asked for tips and Raina sent me a message, she was like, yeah, I usually do about 4 or 5 takes now, and I just end up using the first one anyways, because the other ones weren't even that great. Okay, just a reminder, I'm gonna keep going. This is what works for me, not for you. I'm pretty sure I invented this word about a year ago. Actually, I mentioned my friend Raina, give her a shout out. We did a podcast together, and I already had way too much stuff going on, and she already had a coaching business, and she's starting this and that and this and that. But we wanted to do this project, and we said, none of us have time to do this. What if we just didn't do the things we didn't want to do? What is that for you? And I said, I don't want to deal with guests for the show at all. I don't want to think of guests. I don't want to email guests. I don't want to go back and forth with scheduling. And she's like, oh my God, I got that. No problemo. And I asked her, okay, what do you not want to do? She's like, I've never edited a podcast before. I don't want to touch audio. I don't want to touch thumbnails. I don't want to touch uploading. And I was like, oh my God, this is the stuff I do all the time. Fundamization was born. So my question to you, what would happen if you not cut back on, not scaled down, not hired out for, what would happen if you literally stopped cold turkey doing something that you don't want to do? The reason I use the word fun there is because when things fun, we do it. New project sounds fun, you're into it. Your energy is there. You put time, resource. You can work after the kids go to bed on something that's fun. The project gets shipped, it gets shipped faster, It's better because your audience can tell when you're passionate about it. What would happen if you literally just stopped doing the things that you hate doing? Something to think about. I put this slide in here because I think this has changed my life the most over the past 18 months. What I just said. Fundamentization. I look at my calendar now. I look at meetings. I look at podcast pitch emails, and I'm not remotely interested in the guests. I just delete the email. Like, it's just a hard no. This has changed my life the most out of any slide up here, period. I do not do things that are not fun to me now. It sounds so lame to say it on stage, but that's the truth. All right. How many of you remember a wonderful talk for FinCon X, virtual FinCon, 4 years ago called 3X Prolific? Raise your hand. Nobody? That's exactly right. Do you remember how I said that half of these slides came from my brain, like me brainstorming? I lied. It came from that talk I did 4 years ago at FinCon. I literally opened up the slides, I got my new fancy Stella font, and I ran to the races. The point is, I should also use my friend Liz Wilcox as an example, because we do a promotion together once a year. She's an affiliate of mine, and she's like, hey, are we doing this again this August? I said, are you gonna reuse all the sales emails from last year? She's like, yep. And I'm like, yep, we're doing it. That's it. Save your content. You're gonna switch email providers. You're gonna move from MailChimp to ConvertKit. Take that opportunity to take all of your emails and put them in a Google Doc or something that will persist with you no matter what software, no matter what tool you do. Tweets, Facebook post, blog post, notes, anything. Save it. You can reuse it. The big problem with this is, how am I going to remember to reuse it? I cannot help you with that. I just now thought of it. I did not think of it before I started talking. But that is if anybody has a solution to that, please let me know. I have Google Docs filled with emails that I wrote 7 years ago, and yeah, templatize them. We're actually going to come back to that. I do have a solution. I just answered my own question, but we'll get to that in a second. Content repurposing. You know what repurposing content is, yes? You write a blog post, you record a solo podcast episode, and now you must market it. You hit publish, fantastic. Now you want to tweet about it, now you want to go to LinkedIn, now you want to go to Facebook, all these other things. We kind of forget to do this, and honestly, it doesn't have to be that complicated. I feel like in a world of social media where content disappears so quickly, you can literally just copy and paste 250 words, like your favorite 250 words maybe from a blog post, and then boom, you're done. I will also suggest if you do audio or video, start with that. This is just me personally, again. I start with audio for everything I do, literally on the voice recorder on my phone. Every podcast episode, every blog post, a lot of email ideas, they start from the voice recorder on my phone, which is a new tool I'm building. It automatically goes to the cloud, it goes to Descript, but you can use whatever tool you want to, transcribes it, creates an outline for a blog post, and creates like 7 different social media things, like rough drafts, that I could go from. But it starts with the audio for me personally, because AI is fantastic at transcribing, and I can use that on LinkedIn, I can use that on Twitter, et cetera, et cetera. If you use ChatGPT, by the way, there are a ton of custom GPTs that other people have built for each platform. One of my favorites is some like viral LinkedIn formatter, where I literally just copy and paste in a transcript of my podcast to the custom GPT. I press one button, and it gives me like a really perfectly formatted thing for LinkedIn. So, pro tip, go look for those. Next up. Everybody relax your shoulders. Did anybody actually feel better when they did that? It's hilarious, right? What about drinking a full glass of water? What about a very quick back stretch if you sit all day? My pro tip here is to literally take these out of willpower and put them as a reminder on your phone or a timer on your computer. I use like a bunch of, I used to call it tomato timer. This is the Pomodoro technique where you work for 20 minutes and then you break for 5 or something like that. I don't remember. I have an app on my computer, and when I sit down to work, I just start the little tomato timer. It's a cute little tomato on my computer. And then the timer goes off 20 minutes later. I never ever take 5 minutes because I'm a wuss, but I will stand up, do a quick stretch. If I'm really feeling it, I'll do some jumping jacks, drink some water, deep breath, relax your shoulders. My point is, take it out of willpower and then automate it, right? Timers, reminders, anything. Anything you do every hour to keep yourself motivated, to keep your brain going, to keep your blood flowing so you can work better. Work better? work faster, get all the freedom you want in life. Next up, treadmill desk. I know this is a weird one, but I spent $120 last year, actually the week before FinCon, and my mind has been blown. And my wife made fun of me. She's like, you're gonna leave that under your desk all the time? And I said, yes. But she says, that's dumb. And then 3 months later, she wanted to do something after the kids went to bed. She said, can I use your treadmill desk? And I said, okay. Half an hour later, she comes upstairs and says, my mind is blown. I cannot stand standing desk, even with the pad. I hate it. $119 under-desk treadmill from Amazon, super cheap, works great. Mind blown how much better I feel when I'm working. Just pro tip. I know it's weird to put up there, but can't avoid it. Oh, before bed, brain dump. Okay, this is something I heard about years ago. I only started doing this recently, but I found it very helpful. I like to take my notebook, where I do to-do lists and doodles throughout the day and notes or whatever, up to bed with me. Right before I read for like half an hour before bed. And I just brain dump everything for the next day. Okay. And sometimes I'll even have my phone open with like a calendar or whatever. Like, okay, I'm gonna do this, and do this, and do this, and do this. I found that not only does this actually help me sleep better, faster, go to sleep faster, but when I wake up the next morning, I just feel like, boom, there it is. Okay, here's what I'm doing. And I always add to it, and it always changes, and it's never perfect. But even like 2.5 minutes right before I get into bed has been just crazy awesome for falling asleep. Next up, sprints. I mentioned that I run 15 plus businesses in 15 hours a week. Technically it's true, although half of them aren't making money and they're brand new, or some of them are old and stale or whatever. This is how I work, sprints. I'm really good at that like lower level focus that I mentioned earlier, the micro level of focus. When my laptop opens and I sit down and I start working on the newest app that I'm trying to release or whatever, I'm really good at literally not doing anything else, period, at all, period, ever, period. And some of the things I'll show you, some of the tools that help me with this, that's coming up. But I feel like more people should probably do this. I don't know how all of you work, but my brain, as ADHD as it can be sometimes, when I sit down to work, it only wants to do this one thing. And I actually found that really helpful. Yes, I have 15 plus businesses. How many am I working on? Literally on any given day, 1. I don't answer emails for this other project or this app when I'm doing this one. Everything right here is on this one space. Sometimes that lasts a couple of days. Sometimes it lasts like a week or 2 if I actually have a deadline, which is actually really rare for me these days. Praise be to God. But alas, sprints, one thing at a time. This next one came from Allie, who's sitting in the front row right here. CEO dates. Does anybody do this? Like a weekly meeting, a monthly meeting with yourself and nobody else? So I'll self-promote Allie. Allie came on my podcast like a year or 2 ago, and you told me about this, and I still refer back to a set of templates with some helpful questions. I'm terrible at like remembering questions for journaling and prompts for all this stuff. I'm really bad at it, which is why I have templates that Allie gave me like a few years ago with a bunch of questions on them that I can ask myself, answer in my little notebook. For me, this is like half an hour. I should probably spend more time here. But again, ADHD brain, just a little bit. These are really helpful. I would recommend starting with maybe once every 2 weeks, or if you already do something like this, great, good for you. Or maybe even monthly, but just a little date on your calendar. That's important. Don't leave anything to willpower. Where you get to sit, ask questions about your business, analyze past performance to improve future earnings, success, growth, all that other stuff. Super random. The most successful people I've ever interacted with on the internet never capitalize their sentences. Does anybody worry about this? I do. There's a reason I have Grammarly Premium that I pay like $110 a year for or whatever, because it's awesome. I actually recommend it, even better than the free version. But, you know, I don't even know what to say about this. But this is something I've noticed. I had Seth Godin on my podcast a couple of years ago, and that dude just did not capitalize, punctuate, nothing. There were no commas, there were no periods, there was nothing. And I was like, why do I stress over this when Seth Godin doesn't care? He's like 2 million X more successful than I am. You just take that however you want. Next up is another one that's fairly controversial. My wife hates me for this. She didn't want me to put it in. I used to work in a coffee shop like full-time, like 8 to 10 hours a day when I was first starting my business. And my wife decided to join me one day. By the way, we live in a small town. This is not like you're going to a New York City coffee shop. I could see my friends from like across the room. I can see people I know that I could talk to. The pastor of my church is right over there. My wife came in, worked with me for 4 hours, and then we got done. She's like, I literally didn't even open my laptop. And I was like, did you talk to people? She said, yep. I said, there you go. Me, I keep the big old headphones. I have way too big headphones. I don't need my headphones, but those are like, don't talk to me headphones. And I literally have to tell one of my extrovert friends, like, dude, I absolutely love you. Leave me alone. At 5 p.m., we can talk about whatever you want. But this is me time. This is my work time. I'm a little bit of a jerk for saying those things sometimes. But honestly, you know what I'm talking about, right? Same thing. I don't actually know if I have a slide for this. Stop taking meetings. This guy gets it. I know, it's weird. This is 2024. If you have a full-time corporate job, you probably have to be in meetings. Some of them are unavoidable. Some meetings you might be looking forward to. Fundamentalization, totally do those. But honestly, I think we should normalize the behavior of saying, could we do an email instead? Just that line right there. Could we do an email instead? Or can you just send me a Loom video instead? My business partners, I took on, thank you. Profound. My business partners and I never had business partners in my entire life. It sounds really fancy to say, until like 4 months ago. And I didn't come up with this, one of the other ones did. He said, we're never gonna do a meeting, ever. Do you guys agree? And we were like, well, that sounds pretty nice. So we have a Discord channel. Discord is like Slack, except for gamers. That's way better. And we just send Loom videos. And it's asynchronous. We can check in, check out. They're in different time zones. So much better. You don't have to do meetings. Well, maybe you do. But my point is, respond with that one line. Can we do an email instead? Next up, this is the silliest hack that I never thought I'd like, but I love it. And it's a different song every day. I pay for Spotify Premium. It's one of the only subscriptions that I don't think I'll ever get rid of. I love it so much. I will choose one song, doesn't matter what it is, by the way. For me, I like to do some like bluegrass mixed with like 90s alternative rock. I don't know. It doesn't matter. You listen to one song on repeat, 4 times through, you'll be jamming to it and not even know it's on. It's the weirdest thing, but you should try it. It's fun. Also, I listened to a great podcast episode a couple weeks ago. It was specifically on lo-fi music, and how there's actually substantial research that it could be great for people with ADHD. It's really interesting. You might go check that out. I started listening to Lo-Fi Girl on YouTube, on Spotify, or whatever. Super nice. It's weird. There's neuroscience behind it. I don't know what that is, but I heard it on a podcast, so it must be true. Part 2, automations and tools. Use what you know. This is really lame, because I'm actually about to spew tools at you, some cool stuff that I use. But my point is, it is so much easier to use what you already know. I used Canva for these, not PowerPoint, by the way. Why? Because I took one look in PowerPoint, and it felt like middle school computer class or something, and I hated it. And I was like, I'm just not even gonna try. I'm gonna go use Canva because I already know how to use it. You use Hindenburg, you use Reaper for your podcasting, Logic Pro, GarageBand, whatever that is. The grass isn't necessarily greener with all of these tools I'm about to show you. You're probably better off using what you already know how to use. Don't waste your time, especially video editing. Oh my gosh. Choose one, never ever switch. It's a pain. Next up, automations. I kind of hate this word. This is not fancy stuff. Hotkeys. You know what a hotkey is? Command W closes a window in Chrome or Control if you're in a weird PC computer like a caveman. I didn't say that. The point is, hotkeys are automations. Templates for your emails are automating something. So don't look at automations, systems, any of this stuff as being like something you cannot do. Little bitty micro steps for automating things, like the easy stuff to implement, is actually probably what's gonna save you the most time. You could set up the fanciest automations on your computer with like keystroke tracking and macros, but the time you invest in building those might not actually be worth it in the long run. Maybe it will sometimes, I don't know. But the point is, you can start small. Next up, this is just a random screenshot I took of like, I sell this. I mentioned my friend Liz earlier. I did a thing once where I was like, I built so many templates for myself, for copywriting, blogging. marketing, social media, accounting. Like I have just so many like Google Docs sitting around. I just package these up and sell them. Work great, by the way, people loved it. But I have so much. Next up, internet speed. You can work faster with better internet. I know this because 3 weeks ago, a squirrel chewed through my cable lines and killed my internet access at home, and I've never cursed more in a 24-hour period than I did that day. It was miserable. This is a total cop-out, by the way. On my personal site, PeteMcPherson.com/blog/Wi-Fi, I dove way too deep on this idea of home networking and increasing your Wi-Fi speed at home. So you go read the blog post. There's no ads. You don't pay for anything. No email. You go check it out. Really quick, pay between $150 to $200 for a router. Place your router near your devices, not in a closet, not in a bookshelf. Immediate better Wi-Fi speed. Also, you can get an adapter for, what's it called? Ethernet, Cat5, Cat6 cables for like $12 on Amazon. So you can like hardwire in here. Blazing fast internet, better work, faster work. Mouse sensitivity. How many of you have your trackpad or your mouse on the highest sensitivity settings? I have homework for all of you. I have homework for all of you. Do this today, please. It's gonna be miserable for 2 hours. You're gonna hate it. You're gonna feel like you don't know how to interact with your computer. 2 months from now, you're gonna email me and say, thank you. You will work faster. You will literally like do things on your computer faster for the rest of your life. Give me 2 hours, set your mouse, set your trackpad sensitivity settings to the limit. I'm talking like all the way to the right. Put that on there, it's gonna be miserable, you'll thank me in 2 months. Next up, I had to put this in. I told you, like a bunch of these slides may or may not apply to you. Get a good computer. Again, this is me and my wife. I love her to death, but she never wants to upgrade her computer ever. And she tried installing, she's a music teacher, so she had music notation software just this past week, and she's like, I can't get it to install. Like, I don't have enough space on my computer. I was like, what do you mean? Like, how big is this software we're talking about? I don't remember what it was, but it was something like kind of negligible. And I was like, what's on your computer? I did my research, the computer's like 16 years old with like a 1 gig hard drive or something like that. And I'm like, okay, let's upgrade, let's move on. More RAM, better processor, that's all you need to care about. Windows, it's fine. Mac, it's fine. Linux, well done. Block distracting apps. This is an easy one, and even myself, I find that I just don't take the time to do this. It's so weird. I use one called Self-Control, I think it's free, on Mac, but there are a ton of browser-based solutions that will block Twitter, block, or X, whatever it's called, block Reddit, block gmail.com, block Netflix, or whatever. You can customize the websites that you go to for distracting times and get rid of them. And you can set a timer on it for like 3 hours. Don't let me go to Google, X, Facebook, LinkedIn, or whatever that is. These are everywhere. Some are free, some are paid. They're all pretty cheap. They are a life's like godsend. Next up. I said this one on a YouTube video and got some hateful comments a couple of years ago. Block anything. Block your kids. I cannot work at the kitchen table because my kids, I love them to death, but they come up. I have to work in a room with a door. Go to a coffee shop. Or if it distracts you, like my wife did like several years ago, don't go to a coffee shop. Block things that distract you. Oh, by the way, this is real. Bring the whole coffee pot to your desk right beside you. For me, I have to go all the way upstairs. I have to go into the kitchen, and now I'm like, I'm hungry, I could eat. And now I'm making lunch because I really didn't need it yet. I take my coffee pot down to my desk, I just pour it, and I go. Right? It's the little things. How many of you thought this talk today was going to be talking about carrying your coffee pot to your desk? Nobody, right? But these are the things that add up. Templates, tools, automations, hotkeys, blocking distracting apps, rooms with a door. Trust me. Learn your keyboard shortcuts. I know this is weird. I know this is an odd talk to give, but actually, no joke. The last one right here, print out a physical piece of paper with hotkeys on it. I do this every time I start a new software. I am that nerdy kid. My parents used to make fun of me because I would get toys for Christmas when I was 7 years old. And I would say, oh, yay, I got a new toy. And then I would read the instruction manual start to finish. My parents make fun of me. I still do the same thing. I try out a new podcasting software. I will find the keyboard shortcuts online. I will print them out, and I will memorize them. It's really lame, and and it's really nerdy. And you better believe I can move around my computer faster than anybody else I know, because I know these things. And some of them are super simple. Command F, Control F is search. Command Q, doesn't work on Windows that way, but closes the program. New tabs, do this, do that. Especially for podcast editing, especially for video editing, even a very minimal amount of shortcuts can be huge time savers for editing audio and video. This is something I do not do. This is the only slide in here that I have no real life experience with, but I want to desperately on your iPhone, and I'm sure the same thing exists for you Android users for sure. They have an app that was installed by default, you didn't even ask for it, called Shortcuts. A couple of years ago, they released it. If you're like me, you just moved it over somewhere on your phone, never thought about it. I keep seeing these posts on Reddit and X where people are doing incredible things with their phones. Like from the working hours, like 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., all their apps are hidden, except for I don't know, maybe Slack or whatever else they use to work. When they hit the road to drive to the gym, your Apple device knows where you are all the time, am I right? You can set up automations to put it in workout mode. Now you have access to Spotify and your training app or whatever that is. Again, I have zero experience with this, but this is something I've been dreaming about for a couple of weeks now. It's worth taking a look into, even for just simple, during my work hours, hide these apps on my phone. That one right there. Let's all start with that. You can hold me accountable to that as well. Hotkeys. You know what hotkeys are? You press a modifier key and then something on your keyboard, or maybe it's a few keys or whatever, and then something happens. How many of you have a YouTube channel or a podcast or something like that where you type out a YouTube description that's the same thing almost every time? Hotkey. For me, it's YTX. I hit YTX on my computer. My entire YouTube description template, links to my site, social media links, some pre-built timestamp things that I change every time. It's just boom, right there. And there's a couple of different tools to do this. I use Keyboard Maestro on Mac. Auto Hotkey is probably the most well-known one on Windows. These are highly customizable and a little overwhelming. I'm not gonna lie. You can go to YouTube. This is what I suggest doing. Go to YouTube and look for some instructions on using some tools like this. Text Expander has been around forever. A-text, literally the letter A, then text is another one. There's a ton of these. There's a ton of these where you can build your own macros, your own keystrokes that copy and paste this email template that you use every day, or do this other thing. For me, my email and URL, I cannot stand typing URLs. It's the slashes. Slashes go this way, or the slashes go that way. HTTPS, and then I'm lost. All my URLs, which is way too many, by the way, all of my URLs are bound to a hotkey. So when I type out doevenblog.com, it's HHDD, and then my computer fills in doevenblog.com. All my emails, pete@doevenblog.com is PPDD. And then I have PPKK for another email. And then I have PPPP for my personal email. And just, I cannot stand typing those things out, and so I don't. Easy to get started with. This is just a mindset thing. By the way, I'm running up on time, so I'm gonna talk really fast now. You're doing this manually. This is another one that my friend Raina sent me. She asks herself this all the time. It's almost like WWPD, what would Pete do? You're doing this manually? You're typing out your YouTube description manually? Stop. You could automate this. You could put it in a text doc on your, I don't know, your downloads folder or on your desktop or whatever that is. If you find yourself clicking things or typing things repeatedly, it's a really clear sign that you could automate this. Or just templatize it. Don't think about the word automate, just create a template. That's Keyboard Maestro on my computer, and that's my YouTube description. There's a little screenshot of how I set that up. By the way, I have way too many YouTube channels, and so I have .yt4x, .yt3x, .yt2x, and so on and so forth. Scheduling links. This one's easy. I feel like most people have heard of Calendly at this point, and there's a dozen of these things. I use TidyCal just because it was a one-time payment of $20 or $30 or something like that. It does the trick. Whenever I schedule anything, by the way, I have a hotkey for it. CALX on my computer is my scheduling link for TidyCal, and I just email it out. Next, inbox filters. This one, super game changer. Again, for my spouse. I'm throwing her under the bus, but alas. Every promotional email, newsletters that you know you don't really need all the time, you can create an inbox filter for. I'm not gonna tell you how to do it. Just go to YouTube, you can find it in 5 minutes, and it will skip the inbox. So you get distracted at work and you open up your Gmail account, you don't see it. You have to dig in to the folders, and you can create as many as you want. Set those up, 5 minutes. This is a recent one. One of my favorite AI things in the past couple of years is finally getting great voice-to-text software. I've been trying this forever, like trying to use Siri. I was hoping it wouldn't answer on my computer. Trying to use these tools built into my computer and my phone for voice-to-text, and they stink. But now there's stuff like Better Dictation. Again, I don't have anything to do with these companies, it's just what I use, that have gotten so much better. Now I hold down a hotkey, I just talk, I don't even have to say the punctuation marks anymore, and it works flawlessly. So good, typing so much slower. Okay, really quick, I only have like 2 or 3 more. Easiest AI applications, I feel like we all tried to use AI for blogging, and that's fine. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Formatting and organizing is naturally where my brain goes to these days. Formatting anything, I go to ChatGPT first and foremost. It's really good at that stuff. It doesn't even have to be creative. This is like logical for these like machine learning and like AI stuff. Just nails it. Reformat this into this. Reorganize this by category. That's what I did for this talk, by the way. I had a huge mega list of like the slides. I fed it to ChatGPT and I said, organize this into 3 categories. And that's what you saw on slide like 3 or 4 or whatever. Brainstorming, also very good. ChatGPT, you've all probably heard of. Claude.ai is by far my favorite free AI chatbot. It's really good. Last part. I know I've kind of gone fast. There's been a bunch of random stuff. Maybe this has been helpful for you, maybe not. My goal with this, I told somebody this yesterday, one thing, like for every person in this room. My goal was to give you at least one tiny little idea that you're like, you know what? I don't know about this guy, and some of these are really dumb, and he's kind of silly sometimes, and kind of funny sometimes, but this one thing I'm gonna try and do. That was my goal. So these are the ones that I really wanted to imprint upon you. Number 1, increase your mouse sensitivity. I got a lot of really bad looks from you all when I said that, by the way. It's like, do this, and you guys are like, I don't know. Try it, you might be surprised. Inbox filtering. If you end up checking your email as a distraction, which I do, that's one of my first ones I go to, you could use this. Scheduling link, if you don't already. Print out some keyboard shortcuts. If you're a podcaster, what podcasting software do you use? Google it right now and just print it off. You may use it, you may not, but it might save you time there. Set up one template or hotkey. Keyboard Maestro on Mac is my favorite. Auto hotkey on Windows. Download Better Dictation, or you can just do a Google search for AI voice to text. If you haven't used one yet, they're so good. They're so much better than the old like Siri or whatever. Try working on one song on repeat on your Spotify. Forget the playlist. Just choose one song. Doesn't even matter what it is. Hopefully you like it at least a little bit. Try that out, or try out some lo-fi music. Increase your internet speed. It's another good one. Really quick. So, freedom. I told you at the beginning of the talk, like that's why I'm here, right? I love to figure out more ways in my own life, by the way. I want to talk about this more in my personal brand. Time freedom. I should have put the word time up there because that's what I really care about. I hope you approach this talk or anything you just learned with that in mind. Like you can do more work if you have more time, or you can take more time off. That's another conversation, unfortunately, if you have more time. This is about freedom. Nobody cares. I feel like this is one of the ones I wanted to repeat. This and fundamization. Because I feel like if I have that in your head as you go back home and as you start to work, you'll start arguing with yourself about fonts or what tool you use to do what, and you're gonna hear Pete in the back of your head like, my audience doesn't care at all. They're never gonna know. I hope that sticks with you. Fundamization, same thing. What would happen if you literally just stopped doing everything that is not fun? What would happen? Sometimes something bad would happen, and you should keep doing it. Sometimes you might be surprised that absolutely no difference was made in your life and in your work, and then you should just stop doing that immediately. So this is me. I'm done. I'm gonna shut up now. I do send out a newsletter. I'm gonna self-promote just for a second. It's like a roundup of just cool and useful things that I found on the internet. Most of it's related to creators and entrepreneurship, and some of it's just funny dog videos that I find. Mega list of tools is actually not there right this second. I wrote that on there, and I realized this morning that I forgot to create it this past week, but I'm gonna do it in the next couple of days. PeteMcPherson.com/tools, and if you want to email me, you can find me at pete@doyouevenblog.com. So that's it. So, thank you. Thank you. I legit ran out of time for questions, but I'm going to just stand over here. If anybody wants to come hang out and chat and say hey, or if you have questions, feel free to ask as well, or just give me a high five for speaking. I would love that. So thank you all for coming to my talk. I appreciate it.